Going to be starting with a bit of a jungle build here. He's not even showing it. Actually drops his items on the ground before moving for a ward, but he does have a Stout Shield, a Quelling Blade, and he is going to be realizing that weakness and saying, okay, well, there is going to be a lot of lane pressure if they are either just really in a good position. For example, the Warlock, he's got a 600 attack range, 295 MS. He should be able to kind of bully back the opposition. So I would say that Doom can contest a lane when the Earth Spirit is nearby to help him out, but solo, he's nearly worthless, and he definitely has to be prepared for the weak points here. And the ward game's not going to be doing him any favors. He actually just placed an Observer ward on top of the enemies, so they're going to be seeing it. They're going to be taking care of it, and that means that Key Phoenix will be blind up here as well. So let's say that Puck grabs a lucky rune, it's a haste or something. Key Phoenix has to be very worried for himself. I think it's going to be a pretty slow beginning for him.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing there, you did end up going for a little bit more greedy of a build on some of these heroes. You see Wrong, who ended up going for the 6 tangos, bought a lot of the other stuff. Bobica went boots first. And this was what I was wondering if we were going to see from IG, is trying to put this Venge into like a roaming-ish type of role to find kills, whereas you've got the Warlock there to try and pull and get himself levels. But this does also mean that they don't have those sentry wards right off the bat. But you can see that Doom not even going to try and have any of that mess. He's going to head straight over to this hard camp and does definitely not want to block it off. But he's going to be staying on the edge of it and then probably taking over this one. So that's a decent creep for farming at least. And you know, is going to be able to make sure that he gets a decent start as far as his CS is concerned.
Yeah, not too shabby here. Going to have the summons to tank everything up for himself, and he'll be able to progress pretty rapidly towards like his standard level 3 to 5 range, where he starts actually doing things on the map. But Bobica is going to try for a first blood here, as Mu is pretty far forward, and he's going to be able to get the magic missile at the very least. But from there, are they really going to be able to do much? And it doesn't seem like it's even worth it.
Yeah, a little bit of. I'm not sure if that was a mistime or maybe miscommunication or something, but Ferrari having already thrown the orb, there's like no way they were going to be able to do that. But instead of that, they're just going to end up continuing to have some pressure around here. Bobica's still not that 200 gold yet, so he's not going to be able to get the D ward, but that's certainly going to help at a certain point in time when they try and rotate back in again onto Mu. They did spot out the Venge, and just more battles in the mid lane. What do you think about this matchup here of the DP facing off against the Puck as we see XS take a little damage in this bottom lane?
It is really good for the Death Prophet in the early stages of it. At level 6, it's much more complex because there's a lot of potential for Ferrari to just go for the coil and set up a kill opportunity with 1 or 2 allies roaming in. I mean, you could even go and have an ally TP to your tier 1, and as long as you have the coil, you should be able to punish that Death Prophet, and she's often in the river because she's always pushing. So overall, I don't think that Puck fares very well with the whole Spirit Siphon thing as well as just the CS directly, but I would say that Puck, as the lane goes on, gets more and more kill potential against her.
When we see Kaka there as well, he was getting chased around a little bit, but you can see that they're cutting the creep wave at this point and trying to take it very early. This is even before that first catapult spawns at this point. With Bobica in the mid lane, though, this might be where they're able to find that first blood if it doesn't get a little bit too crazy in the bottom lane first. Nature's Prophet seems to be keeping his distance, but here's going to be the jump. They end up being able to throw out the magic missile. Ferrari is there as well, and this is going to be that first blood going the way of Ferrari. So well played there, and certainly is going to start this Puck off to a good start.
Yeah, still, we're going to be seeing the Death Prophet buy her items, so she is going to be having the bottle and being able to TP to get back onto the lane, which is obviously the most important part. First Blood's still very good for Puck here. Ferrari is going to be able to get actually boots and bottle with the same courier, but and that's like the ground courier. This is like before 3 minutes he has boots and bottle. That's massive. I cannot understate this, but you have to also understand that they want to keep the pressure up. They don't want that to be the only gank on Mu just from one Lucky and Bizrune. They want to be able to make those rotations 2 or 3 more times just in the laning phase alone.
And you can see right here that they've got a decent amount of vision of this. They didn't quite spot out the Venge, I don't think, but is going to have to rotate back up towards this top side. And with the Sentry Ward now in hand, this is going to be a quick and easy D Ward as Bobica is going to end up taking this one down.
That attack range, though, man, that's so frustrating.
Goodness. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He's going to have to Quelling Blade it or something, I don't know, but maybe the Warlock will take it for free, but that golden experience is not coming easy.
Yeah, that's really frustrating. I wonder if they're going to even realize that award's up there themselves. They might, but regardless, Lycan up here in the top, he's the top of the CS chart so far, and you did have the Gyrocopter who's starting to push down this tower. They're actually going to be able to maybe get a wraparound here. Nature's Prophet looking like he might end up going down. They get the stun, and this could be enough as the Splinter Blast comes through. The last right click goes from the Gyro, and they find it. So another kill there coming out from first one for the side of NewBee.
This rune that's coming up for Ferrari is going to be huge. He just got his bottle off the core. He's going to get a haste rune, and he's only 8 experience away from level 6, so he can absolutely make a rotation. If they go now, he won't have the ultimate, but if he just goes back to the lane, gets one more creep wave, then they could suddenly be 5-banding a top lane with all their potential.
Yeah. Well, and I was wondering if maybe the Venge was going to pick it up right there. Boboka could have walked in and tried to find a kill there with the haste and the magic missile coming, but didn't end up doing it. With all these summons, though, and Howl available, this is going to fall very, very rapidly. You don't have the same type of push potential in the bottom lane, but even so, because of that early creep cut that they had, they were going to be able to at least bring it down to a low enough point that this should be a trade to the towers. So pretty easy across the board, and I don't know, do you feel like that favors either side in particular? NewBee isn't a lineup that you're normally going to be seeing them pushing in the same way, at least, that IG do. Do you think that it favors them to be able to trade this early?
Dramatically. That trade is exactly what they're looking to do here, and making it even, making it so that they're not like, usually in this position you'll be like taking the tower down 70%, but you'll lose a whole tower in the process. No, this is a very nice free tower for them, and they're going to be able to do a lot with the gyrocopter in the meantime, because if the next tower on IG's list is going to be the mid-tier one, and we could actually just see how play in this bottom lane this far forward multiple times. Like, you can keep the waves pushed out, keep tower damage on the tier 2, keep pressure that way. And the rotation power isn't all that strong without the puck. The puck is who they'll keep eyes on. When he's missing, How has to be a bit worried. But when he is visible, How can play all the way up to that tier 2. And that's a really good thing for NewBee.
Well, and the vision-wise also, I mean, you do have to be a little bit concerned because, like you said, there isn't the wards that are down there, but as long as you see him every now and then, the haste rune gives some cause for concern, but not enough so that he's going to have to worry too much about it. And actually, we're going to see Ferrari move up towards the top here and get spots out by the ward. They realize that he's in the area, and that is going to just about do it. As far as the next rotation, like, they're looking for a kill up here onto Wrong. Do you think that this is sort of the play at this point? Like, it kind of feels like they're committing a lot for it. I guess it's just the two Roman Sports and the Doom, and this should be a pickoff. They're going to rotate in several heroes, trying to heal up for the moment. Fairy Fire actually going to be able to keep him alive. No, he ends up going down, and now the Doom does end up dropping, but is it going to be enough to kill him off? I don't think so, but that still gets everybody out. That was the Dream Coil committed, and they don't have anything to follow it up with.
All right, but it is the Doom in response as well, so they do commit, but they do end up getting the kill, 1-for-1. And I gotta say that I will have to admit that I have not played Warlock since Fairy Fire came out, but that is a hell of an item to have on a hero that has such an amazing heal over time. But 9 times out of 10, or maybe that's exaggeration, maybe like 6 or 7 times out of 10, when you cast that spell, you're gonna die just before it really starts to kick in. Like Shadow Word is that spell. Like, if I could just live just a tiny bit more, suddenly I'm gonna be healing more than they can damage. And you're fine. And that's why, like, the mild strength buffs that Warlock used to get like a dozen patches ago used to be a really big deal because he could tank up just a tiny bit. In fact, there was an off-lane build for Warlock where you would back Shadow Word and skill stats because it was all about just surviving a tiny bit more. So seeing that Fairy Fire almost secure survival in that otherwise guaranteed kill situation, man, this hero, he's got some potential. But anyways, it is going to be Doom traded off for Dream Coil. Since this is a support Doom and you don't even expect him to necessarily be at level 6 too early on in the game, it's okay, but he's in trouble up top, and he's not going to be able to TP out.
There's so much freaking damage coming out, and they do end up going for it, but not going to be able to get it nearly quickly enough. And I like this Venge. He's maxing out the Wave of Terror. They've already got a huge amount of amplification, and this ends up sort of, I think, at least to a large extent, securing that Roshan potential a little bit later. But 5 heroes up in the top lane right now, and still the story of the game for me has kind of been how freely NewBee have farmed in this bottom lane. First it was Gyro, now it's Kaka. I feel like they have to punish this to some extent.
Well, we'll see. For now, it is like the full force pressure on this mid-tier 1 going the other way while they let Lycan just kind of do his own thing. It's really, the map is so much more spread than you'd expect. I feel like IG could have been in kind of a 4 or 5 man mode right now, and instead they're kind of playing at bottom lane and top lane to a significant degree. And I'm wondering why the game plan is like that. I mean, they definitely could be pressuring one or tower or even Roshan right now, but they are looking to, I think, prioritize experience more than anything else. I mean, Wrong is going for a Midas, so that's going to be still a mid to late game build, and I guess they just don't feel as on the clock as a normal Nature's Prophet like lineup is.
I like this a lot as well. You know, being able to farm with the Fatal Bonds. It's not something that you always end up seeing, but it's pretty freaking strong here. And we're also going to be able to be very close to Ferrari picking up his Blink Dagger. These are the types of things to me that end up maybe being the time to go. And, you know, level 6 just came up on the Warlock. You've got your level 6 on the Nature's Prophet. If they don't group up now, I would be a little bit surprised as well. I think that it's probably okay the way that they've been doing it, but eventually you want to take those objectives. As far as NewBee late game, would you be that concerned about the Gyrocopter, or does Lycan match up well enough against him?
Well, I still think you want to take it late game, but a Warlock is a hell of a 4-position support to go to that stage of the game. Like, you are going to be able to do so much with even just one Chaotic Offering and Fatal Bonds. And the Puck is no slouch in the mid to late game either. He could definitely build up an item pool that suits that, whether you go for the Ags that we see to kite melee cores, or in this case, since he's up against almost exclusively range, he might just go for burst damage. I mean, Fatal Bonds, get some Dagon damage on everybody. You're going to be able to do so much damage in these fights. I gotta say, like, I know it's a bit me on my soapbox, but Fatal Bonds is one of the best effing spells in the game if you can hit it. Like, it scales so well, but a fight about to break out, and I think Kaka gets the better end of it.
Oh god, there's the jump forward. Silence hits onto 2, and Kaka is going to be controlled for the moment. He gets out the Magnetize. It only hits onto Bobica, but he does end up going down. I think that's pretty worth it, though. The Exorcism kills off that Golem, and they're just going to back out after they take the tower. This is a little bit of a misplay there, I gotta say. They weren't able to burst down that hero before he ended up getting off the spell, and didn't end up working out their way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like they wanted the flank to open up the entire fight, but that's not really how their lineup works. Their lineup, without all 5 heroes involved, isn't really going to do all that much. The Warlock needs people to be grouped up, for the Fatal Bonds to hit multiple heroes, for the Chaotic Offering to hit multiple heroes, and we're just not seeing that. It's just going to be them sacrificing a tier 1, showing off their Blink Dagger, and really just trading poorly. It's going to be, I think, the next play that kind of needs to gain momentum for IG, whether they go for Roche, whether they go for the gank. It looks like they're just checking it, and Kaka definitely has the Roshan on his mind.
Yeah, he wants to keep an eye on that one. He hasn't been able to get a ton of farm himself, as the Winter Wyvern hasn't either, but the levels, to me at least, are really the most important thing here. You see that Venge has been somewhat shoved to the side as far as that's concerned, only level 4, but this take of Roshan is going to help out a lot as far as that's concerned. In the mid-game, you've been talking about this a lot, and the potential for IG. What's the big objective outside of Roshan? Like, do they need to, with this Aegis, take 2 sets of towers? What's sort of the thing that they're going to be happy securing with this sort of tactical advantage?
I mean, you still have to be scary as NewBee's lineup hits around level 11 and goes even further than that. So I think that you do have to start suppressing the map in a big way. And top lane has already been taken down nearly half of its HP, so it'll be the most convenient solution. Ideally, you're looking at a full, like, both towers in mid and then 1 tower top, because you still need to keep this pressure rolling. But their tempo has been slowed down a little bit with the last couple of exchanges, and I don't know if they're as confident to try to go for that. It's very ambitious to say, hey, we'll take 3 towers in 5 minutes, but I think that they need to kind of look at the game as a whole and say, we need to control the map, and we need it now. So I think that they really do need to step on the gas, whether or not they just take 2 towers or 3, or get rebuffed immediately, and NewBee just outplay them in a team fight. I don't know, but they need to find that opening quickly.
Well, and I really like this Winter Wyvern being able to get up to level 7 now as well. Chuan, that maxed out Splinter Blast and Arcane Boots at this point means that this is just going to be the consistent pressure. You're one-shotting Rain Creep, you jump on in, get a couple of right clicks, and get yourself some farm. And this is a hero that's just by herself able to do so much. And against the Lycan with the Howl damage going back, it does feel like that Winter's Curse is going to... It's a game where that's relevant, like super freaking relevant. And I want to see how they end up doing this. They're just going to run right into Bobica. He's pretty far forward, and he's going to need to get the heck out of here. It does look like he's going to end up falling, though, so a pretty easy pick off.
Ferrari gets doomed in mid, and that is the bigger kill by far. Getting that kill on the Puck now, they are really just breaking down IG's opportunity to build that pressure, to build that push, and heck, they're going to be losing some damage onto their mid as well. Like right now, I feel like this is where you have to look at the Doom cooldown and say, okay, we have 100 seconds, we have Aegis, let's get back in the fight. Like we absolutely cannot hesitate at this moment. We need to find a pressure, whether it's just walking to the tier 1 mid, but Furion does encounter Kaka, and it's really hard to get away from an Earth Spirit here.
Jeez, he's going to go for the TP. This should end up securing his retreat. So Magnetize also down for another 75 seconds. This is a really great timing if they're going to be able to make this work. And they actually jump forward, get the silence and the Dream Coil. This is going to be a dead Kaka. No, the Cold Embrace comes, and they think that they are going to end up losing this one potentially. They drop the Chaotic Offering, a couple more hits, and Kaka's going to be able to escape for the moment. They have the Fatal Bonds, though. Is it going to be enough to kill him off? It is! A really nicely played one there, but they've already lost Ferrari again. And Chuan dropping low. They are going to be able to kill him off. XS trying to be able to finish him off here with the right clicks, but it was not enough to find the kill, and that was Doom getting out. So a 2-for-3 exchange. It started like it would have been good, but it didn't end up working out for him.
Yeah, so we are going to be seeing IG now get the top tier 2, pretty much guaranteed. They have enough of a timing window that there's no response from NewBee, and I like their target priority as well. They get the Fatal Bonds on 3 heroes, but they always are making sure this Death Prophet goes down quick, because she's still a very easy target, and she's not even bothering to cast Exorcism, because she'll know she dies before it even becomes relevant.
Oh, Bobaka caught right on the edge. They were looking for him and tried to go for the little sneaky TP, but it didn't end up working out. They lose that Vengeful Spirit. It feels just like they keep on these little things here and there that they don't quite execute perfectly. What do you think about this Lycan rushing the Necro book? Is this really sort of the de facto play? And it almost feels like they're trying to go more split pushy as opposed to the group up and fight.
See, the problem I have with the idea that IG is presenting right now is they're building a Necro on a Lycan while they're building a Midas on a Warlock. And those two ideas really split off into completely different paths for the key to the game. I think that it's appropriate. I think that they need to take towers and suppress the map, and Necronomicon is great at doing that. As well, you might get lucky and do some really critical damage when the Necro gets killed off, because there is a lot of AoE damage coming out from NewBee. So I think that there's a lot of value in this item pickup, but I feel like the Warlock is slowing down the game. It's like they want to ramp up the game in some heroes. They want to slow down the game in the others, and it makes everything disjointed.
So what would you think is like the big pickup that he could have gone? Is it like a mechanism at this point, or trying to go for a Vlad's potential? I mean, they already have a Vlad's actually on QD, so what would have been the sort of more item to finish off the game?
I definitely think Arcane Mech would have been the fast item, and he's instead trying to go for that whole Ags and everything.
They're going to run for this one.
Nice block.
That was pretty solid there. The cooldown is still going to connect onto 3 heroes, but that's going to be a Cold Embrace, keeping them alive. Oh, a nice silence there onto Wrong. Still a while before they're going to be able to have enough for the Chaotic Offering. They pop the Aegis, but still a lot of damage going on. Ferrari 430 is going to fall, and I think that Lycan might go down as well. Are they going to be able to do this, though? Wrong is going to be able to come back in 9 seconds with that Chaotic Offering, but are they going to be able to make enough of it before that happens? Bobaka's dropping low, and I think that they might just end up losing. Wrong, he falls before he pops his ulti, and now QD is going to drop as well. Might be able to kill off Moo. No, they're going to embrace him. He's going to be able to walk away from this. A full team wipe, and they only lose the Earth Spirit. Wow.
Massive plays from Moo here. He had such a perfect positioning. I can't draw on your map, but he actually took if you look at the tier 2 Radiant mid, he took the path just to the west of that, down, and had Exorcism going the whole time. They were attacking up the hill, then he gets in position on the steps and just starts laying into people, gets Spirit Siphon out multiple times over, survives through it all without a Yule Scepter. They couldn't focus him because he was just far away enough from the fight. He activated Exorcism on the periphery, and he just gets to subtly do all that damage. It's a fight IG shouldn't have committed further into. Ferrari, I think, was the big one that dove far too deep. His Veil was on cooldown, and he just didn't have enough damage to burst anybody. But he tried, he failed, and Moo just walks all over them. Really good damage from the Death Prophet, and that's going to be a fight that IG almost couldn't afford to lose. They have to be scratching their heads at their next move.
Oh my god, is Ferrari just going to go down right here? No, he's going to be able to survive through it. Kaka gets healed back up. Oh, QD is right there in the front of everybody,
nice
though. They throw a capturing as well as the Fatal Bonds comes out. There's going to be a couple more silences going on to QD. I think that he does escape there. Chuan dropping low, but not dead. They've already lost the Earth Spirit. And are they going to end up losing Chuan? There's going to be the phase shift still on the other side. Moose trying to stay alive. They end up being able to find the kill, though. They do end up losing the DP and the Earth Spirit, but they were able to find at least that puck.
Yeah, massive bonds there. Warlock ends up doing 25-40 damage in that fight, but it is still not really enough to seal the deal on 2 heroes. If the Wyvern and Gyro go down there, wow, that's going to be a huge opening for IG, but with just a couple slivers of HP, they walk away, and as a result, NewBee are still in perfect control of this game. IG's next thoughts have to be on this second Roche. They can no longer be thinking about the 19-minute mark. They have to be thinking about the 22-minute mark. They have to be thinking about the next cycle and what they're going to do with it.
I mean, it's worth noting that you do have
because right now
here.
It's not playing out.
I think we had a little bit of a cutout there, but what I was going to say is that I feel like for Wrong, you've been able to build up now 2 components of your Aghanim Scepter. You're almost at your 3rd. They are still going to have a decent timing up, but I guess my thing is that going to be enough if NewBee are able to steal an Aegis before that ends up happening?
I mean, I don't think NewBee are going to be able to steal an Aegis, but it's much more about whether or not IG are able to get it themselves. I don't think that NewBee are in any way going to be able to go for the pit themselves, but I do think that IG have to be opening up the map and making sure that everything's pushed out before they can actually go for that pit. And in the meantime, yeah, I think that Warlock's timing is just different from his team's. It's still good. Like, Wrong has shown many times that this build can work for him. He goes Midas, he goes Ags, and then pretty much whatever he wants from there. One game he went a Shadow Blade, Refresher, Hex. I mean, this guy, he has so many good items that can enable him to do great things, but the question is whether or not it works with his team, and so far we haven't seen that.
Well, Kaka is still stalking for the moment, and like you mentioned, for QD is just the next item then to try and maybe hit a secondary timing off the back of this first one that came out with the Necrobook of BKB for him, or possibly for the Nature's Prophet. Do you end up going back for a Necrobook of his own? What's your thought there? Oh god, they are going to be able to maybe take Roshan though.
Now, the Wolf is going to scout it out here. This is going to be very important. There is no Golem for 13 seconds. The Reign of Chaos is still gathering in the clouds, but this is going to be a close one.
Jump in. They're holding it back for the moment. House controlled, but not going to go down. Ferrari actually silenced, and he just drops. Oh, this could be really bad. They get the Winter's Curse onto Bobica as well, and now KPI, he's going to be able to jump back in. QD is doomed for the moment. They have been able to kill him off down. Really well played there to get that one at least. And now they're going to try and chase a little bit further after Kaka, and it looks like they might be able to do it. This is huge.
Look at top lane. The Prophet has been ratting it the whole time. Only had the ulti, and now he's dropped the glyph. He's going to drop the melee racks, drumming it up just to finish this one off. They have taken the fight. They denied the Aegis. And they are going to be able to take the top lane and kill the Earth Spirit on top of it all.
Oh, XS trying to walk away. Is he?
No, he's gone, but it doesn't matter. His duty is done. That was really good game sense from IG. A commitment from Ferrari, forcing the pit fight. They get the Warlock spells out the way they needed to, and on top of that, the Nature's Prophet does what he has to on the top lane. That was just perfect from IG.
So much gold going back their way as well. And, you look there at the end, the upheaval was even able to, ensure that the Lycan could run around in the midst of all of that and just cause chaos abound. It does feel now also, though, that there's still this other timing. Like, as far as NewBee are concerned, do you need to try and make something happen at this point, or do you just keep on trying to hold out? Like, it felt like that Roche attempt was their moment to take an objective of their own, and they kind of need something else.
But it was a mistake. Like, they shouldn't have gone for the pit. They can't go into the pit like that. You're going to get ratted. You're going to get dunked on by this Warlock puck. Like, these heroes are perfect for pit fighting, and they're going to be able to fully control that. The 2 abilities, Dream Coil and Upheaval, as well as to an extent Chaotic Offering, are all about positioning control. If you're in a tiny, compact space like Roshan's pit, if you're even within range of the heroes there, like for example, the Cold Embracing the Gyrocopter puts Chuan at risk. You are going to be caught by those spells, and you are going to get annihilated by those spells. Even though Ferrari went completely suicidal, he was able to get the Veil out, and that's all that really matters, because once you have Veil out and Fatal Bond's Wrath of Nature, everything just explodes, and that's just a fight that NewBee can't take. They should be playing passively. They should be playing defensively. They should be making this game go as long as possible. Obviously, the Warlock is a threat in the late game, but he's a threat you can manage. Right now, you cannot manage the Rat of Furion and Lycan, along with the positioning control of IG.
So here's my question then. If you're NewBee at this point in time, Like, do you try and make some type of smoking? Like, it feels to me as if IG now are in the driver's seat where they want to make something happen. But NewBee also going to be playing that defensive role. Can they even really leave their base at all at this point?
I mean, they just have to kind of stay together, relatively speaking. They don't have to be afraid of just walking outside range of their towers and of their base. They can still farm relatively efficiently. There's no pickoff from IG. Like, there's a Blink Dream Coil, like, and a Nature's Prophet teleporting in. It's not nearly as bad as other lineups in terms of getting picked off. But at the same time, you have to keep your lanes pushed out. That's the bigger thing. They have to have a defensive mindset, not necessarily in terms of like constantly asking where the enemy is, because I feel like they can still take a fight in the jungle if it's like a 3v3 or something. If they notice everybody's off the map, then they should be able to turtle up a bit. But in general, I feel like it's just about pushing out the lanes, playing defensively, and building up to the next tier. Gyrocopter cannot fight at this stage with these items. I mean, he's got SMY, Drums, Phase, Aquila. Those are not items to carry the game.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle for him there, and I'm kind of wondering at this point, you talked about the need for the wave clears. They're going to be able to find Moo quickly. There's the swap back. Gets the Yules for the moment, but with that jump forward, Moo is still controlled. The nice Ghost Scepter as well as that Hold Embrace, but they're going to do so much damage with the Chaotic Offering, and they're all freaking dead. Holy hell, that was a lot of damage coming through with those Fatal Bonds. How is now also going to get chased down. Can they find the kill? Sprouted again. He's going to jump in with them. Ferrari has no regard for his own life, but he is also going to be able to find the kill. And now, how do you stop this push? There is just nothing at all to make this happen.
This is the kind of game that makes you want to go play Warlock in a pub. Like, getting the Aghanim Scepter out there, just showing off what it can do, massive damage from everybody, and the GG comes out at 25 minutes. This is a very unique combination of heroes, but IG have practiced with it. They know their timings, they know what to do with it. And while a couple of fights absolutely did not go their way, they played poorly around the silence mechanics of Earth Spirit and Death Prophet, they still were able to do what they needed to, which was take one or two big fights and, more importantly, keep base pressure up. NewBee, they had to spread the map because they were under so much pressure from multiple sources, and in the end, they just can't respond to what the Warlock brings. The pit fight and that last mid fight, the Warlock dominated, and from there, IG just laughing at themselves for being able to pick up such the most underrated hero in Dota 2. I'll say that.
No. We're going to see if NewBee are going to be able to pull it back here. Again, this is the Season 6 playoffs here in H-Cup. Invictus Gaming facing off against NewBee, Lyrical Dota, and Blaze. Your casters for this last one. Stick around because we got some more action that's coming up. And then following up with this game, we're going to be taking a look at FTD facing off against CDEC Youth. Stick around, everybody. More H-Cup in just a couple minutes.